Hello and welcome to BassPush Interviews in conjunction with the Wub Mag, an online magazine based in Bristol covering everything underground. And today we have a very special guest. He has created some of the biggest bassline tracks that I've heard in the last 5-6 years. And yeah, we're super stoked to have him on. He's just had a release on the Wub Club. And yeah, let's just get started. Hello, JoJo. How are you doing, my G?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
Ideal, man. Ideal. So let's just talk a little bit about how you got into bassline and you know, the general underground dancing.
Yeah, I think it kind of starts like, well, it's not really it's an origin story, but like, yeah, so just like when we was getting into, you know, a group of mates growing up and that, and then, you know, we started going to parties. I used to hate any sort of electronic music. Like, I was always into like the bands and that. Like, I was a big quiet metal head back in my younger days. Still am, to be fair. But yeah, I just didn't get it at all. And then there was one party where you know, I had a little funny disco biscuit. And
Yeah.
honestly, it just changed everything. Like the experience I had, like watching my mate on the decks at the time, and then from that day it was like just kind of opened my eyes to another door, and you know, got myself a mixed track pro, and luckily he was really nice, and he gave me like a full pen drive of tunes, and was just like, you know, just have a whack with them, and it was all like proper nice deep house stuff like Disclosure and that.
Yeah.
And then just as, like, you know, we started going out more and going to parties, and, you know, then start going on to raves and that, and then it just came more of like, you know, bass line and drum and bass and that. And I was always into like writing music and that, so I kind of turned to like DJing and then producing music.
Okay.
And then I just started going down that avenue, and it just kind of like snowballed from there.
Nice, man. So you say there that you started DJing first. How long after you started DJing did you start producing?
Came around the pretty same time, because I was already messing around with like FL Studio, nothing too major, just like, you know, just finding out what buttons do in that, because
Yeah,
it
of
was
course, man.
it was just a load of bloody knobs to me at the time. I was just like, what's all this? What's this thing where it's got 6 parameters, you can move them up and down? Like, no idea what it was. I was just messing around, toying with things. But yeah, as I started just like getting into it, because I'm all basically self-taught as well, so I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Because no, it was only me around my town who was kind of really like doing that sort of production.
Okay.
So it was like a lot of it is self-taught.
So you started with FL Studio.
Yeah.
Do you remember what version that was?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I know it was a crack version.
Yeah, of course, man. I think
Just the cracks, yeah.
I think the first one I used was like FL8. I want to say maybe 10.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was daft.
Yeah.
This was about 7 years ago now or something.
Do you remember the one that used to have Justin Bieber's face on it?
No.
That you know, like the Fruity logo when it comes when you load it up, it used to have Justin Bieber's face on it.
Bloody hell.
I know, it's fucking ridiculous. That
must have been an old version.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So are you still on FL, or have you moved on to other DAWs?
No, I've gone to Ableton now.
Nice.
Ableton. That was I went to BIM when I moved up to Manchester, and I left after a year because it was just crap. But the one good thing I got out of it was that we got Ableton for free, and I still use it today. So
nice, man.
yeah,
Nice.
Nice one.
Can't complain.
No.
So in terms of your inspirations to make bassline, obviously you were going to raves and things like that. Do you remember any of like the specific like producers or DJs that really influenced you to start?
Yeah. Like definitely. I'm definitely going to say it's my mate Scott Riley, because from that night he kind of opened the door to me.
Yeah.
With music in general, but in terms of like bassline and, you know, and what actually got me like driving my sound and that, definitely like all the Off Me Nut guys. You know, Dr. Cryptic, Thorpe, Fat World, you know, like even like even the small names like Cake's an absolute don.
Yeah.
But yeah, like college days was like, you know, me and my mate on the way home from college, and like, you know, it was like, you know, it was the days where it was like, you know, you find a tune on SoundCloud and it's like a competition between all your mates. It's like, oh bloody hell, listen to this tune. There's this tune I found. We
Yeah,
pulled up Dirty Dot by Cryptic, and we were just like, fucking Jesus, you know what I
yeah.
mean? One of them.
I remember back in the dubstep days, like kind of when like 16-bit and people like that were about, and me and my mates used to have like competitions to find the dirtiest dubstep. Is that the kind of
Yeah,
idea
pretty
that you
much.
guys had there? Was just like,
Pretty much.
let's find the gnarliest bassline track we possibly can.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Sick,
But
man.
like the good thing that stemmed from that is as well, like, because we was all into like listening to music, and like when I had some like house parties and that, like we had like my little Mix Trap Pro,
Mm.
everyone just taking turns like having a go at DJing and that, and from that we ended up like making an event called the Lock-In.
Okay.
So around our town, it was like we had a pub called the Lee Arms. It was a rough pub. Dodgy stuff went down there.
Is this over on Merseyside?
Yes. This is in Newton the Willows. Big up
Nice.
the WSPS. Yeah. So we was like, right, we wanted to like chuck a night. So it was like my band did a gig, and it went down really well. But then we had a bit of the DJ set afterwards, and it went down really well. Like, you know, we got a good few heads in and that. So the owners of the bar were just like, well, do you want to just do like a DJ night? And we was like, yeah, go on then. So I got like, you know, a couple of mates who we've been DJing with, like just messing about. We all made funny DJ names, which I mean, some of us are still called that today, which is pretty
Right. So
funny.
has JoJo always been your name?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
always been my name.
Yeah.
Just like to keep it nice and simple. It's what some of my mates call me as a nickname. So it's like, it's not even a nickname, but you know, it is what it is.
Just makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I'd feel a bit silly if I was called something like, you know, oh, don't know, like instigator or something. Or,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
something like really mad like that.
Something totally irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, and then we ended up like chucking a night, and I mean, it was it if a Bobby would have walked in, the pub would have got shut straight down. Like, we was all underage, everyone was
Yeah.
off their head, but it was a top night. Like, it was a full on rave in a pub. It was brilliant, and then that started us actually chucking events. Like, we ended up like, you know, we did another couple at that pub just because it was like, you know, it was vibing there, but then it got shut down. Because the landlords were, you know, like I say, it was a lot of dodgy stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And then now we run Below the Belt, which is in Manchester, we've been running for like the time we've all been at uni and that, and we've had some really sick names come through and had some really like sick nights. It's just a shame that we was meant to have our second birthday before the lockdown hit. Like, massive jungle lineup, Nicky Black Market, Aries, Euphonique, like
Jeez.
Stomps, and it got pulled because, you know,
that's a pain. Yeah,
it was a bummer, and we've still not been able to chuck an event, but hopefully, you know,
a little bit of glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
So let's just touch on that quickly then. Obviously, COVID's come about and it's absolutely destroyed the rave scene. How has that changed your process when it comes to making music?
I think if anything, it's kind of helped, just because, you know, we've had a lot of free time. I've been furloughed as well because I work in a bar in Manchester, and I've not been back since March, which has been pretty crap. But I've tried to see the positives in it and just you know, just carry on with making some music, because it's just given me a lot of free time.
Yeah,
give me a lot of free time to really focus in. Sometimes it's a bit annoying because sometimes you get a writer's block and it's like you've got nothing to do, and it's like I can't think of any. I can't sit down and like get on a wave with a tune or anything. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I have made a lot of music over this year. Stuff that like I need to be putting out, and you know, so I've got tunes to sit on. So hopefully, well, definitely, we'll be hearing some more stuff coming from me very soon.
Nice, man. So can you talk about any of the upcoming releases that you've got?
I've not got any releases coming up as yet. Hopefully I plan to I'll get another tune out on Wub Club and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, as far as it, I've got like an EP ready, still needs touching up and that. And I've been working on some drum and bass tracks as well. So
okay, so
it's just a case of finding the labels and then just releasing them.
So
I'm murder for sitting on tunes me as well, and just like, just keep like, just push them to the side. So I've told myself like I need to go back, dig them out, mix them all, and just push them. Do you know what I mean?
So you said that you've started like diversifying your musical portfolio, and making stuff like drum and bass. Are there any other genres that you're quite keen to like try out, or that you have tried out?
I love garage. But yeah, I've not really made much garage tracks. It's mainly just for the production side of things. It's just like drum and bass and bass line for me.
Nice.
Drum and bass is like a massive genre in itself. Like, so yeah, no, I love making drum and bass because I think it's, you can kind of, when it comes to textures and, you can really like build an atmosphere and, build a space.
Absolutely.
Which I love doing, and you can be dead melodic with it at the same time as well. You go different avenues, and it's the same with bassline as well. Like, the thing with bassline is you can just sample absolutely anything.
Yeah.
I sampled the bloody Junkies Bastard sample, that Gypsy Boy and the Junkies Bastard, and it's, you know what I mean? It just makes you laugh, you know what I mean? You can have so much fun making bassline. Making one today, and I just sampled my mate from an old video, bloody when he was all drunk and shit, just to see how it would sound, and it doesn't sound half bad,
So the first track I remember hearing of yours was Hollaback Girl.
Yeah.
Have you done many more bootlegs of that kind of like ilk?
Yeah, so I did one. I did like a Britney Spears Hit Me Baby one.
Jeez.
That came out like around the same time as that, a bit later on. That was a funny one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a few that are like, just in the works. There's one called Filthy Pervert that I made, and it's literally just sampling bloody Philip Schofield on This Morning. That's what I mean. You can sample anything, mate. It's mad, and it sounds great.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome to like hear about producers, like their process when it comes to like finding ideas for tracks and all sorts of stuff like that. So when you sit down and you're like, right, I'm gonna make a track, what do you start with? Do you start with like, we've had people say they start with the drums, with samples, with like various other things?
Pretty much I kind of start with the drums, just build like a beat, or sometimes if I'm not really feeling it, I'll go back on an older project, find like a good drum pattern that I've made previously, and go from there.
Yeah.
Maybe just start messing around with like some synths, like, just some bass sounds that I've made. It all starts differently really for me, I think. Like, just like the other day, like I was on a certain project and I was spending so much time messing around with different bass sounds and that, and then one just clicked and it was like, that sounds good, and then that were it then.
Yeah, and then you just fly with it, don't you?
Yeah, a few hours later you're like onto a tune, do you know what I mean? But it's just finding that click for me. It's like, it's that click, and there's no better when you're in the zone with a tune. Like, there's nothing better.
Totally agree, man.
It's just like, it's that click, and I find that by anything really. It could be like, I find like a vocal a cappella and I just drag it in and it works, so then I chop it up and then I go from there, or it starts with the intro. It's different for me every time.
Yeah, of course, man.
Which sometimes is quite annoying because I'd like some structure, but that's just how it is at the minute. It's just, it's quite random. It's like, if it goes, it goes.
Absolutely, man. So let's just talk a little bit about Below the Belt, if you don't mind. So is that your label?
Yeah. So it's me and who I live with. me, Kris, and Luke.
Nice.
We've all been mates, like, you know, for years. And well, Kris is my cousin.
Okay.
We're like long time mates, like from birth, really. Luke, who is we're like, you know, that's when we was like 14 and that, and we was like, you know, going out and that, and you know, he chucked the events with us back in the day proper. So yeah, when we moved to Manchester, we was like, we want to set up like we want to do an event, like proper do it though. Do you know what I mean? Like, be serious about it. And yeah, so we did our first night Stage and Radio in Manchester, which is a great little club. It's only like 120 capacity.
Yeah.
We bought Dr. Oscillator, which, to be fair, I need to give him a mention as well, Dr. Oscillator, because he's 100% inspired me with my sound as well. Yeah, we booked Oscillator, and then just got like, you know, just us like, you know, supporting, and that went down really well. And then we kind of just tried to build a pot and just try and like get the lineups a bit bigger and bigger. And then we had come through. Then we did a little charity night, which was really nice. We put together with a few other brands in Manchester, like some of our mates, for like People of Yemen, which was a really good cause.
Nice.
We've had like people like Upgrade come through. We've had Boo. Who else? We had Hybrid KY, Thorpe, Limited. You know, we had some. Oh, Fat World came through, and that was an unbelievable night. Like,
Yeah.
Zombie Shack, 150 people just packed out, bopping.
They sure create a vibe, don't they?
Oh, unbelievable! One of the best crowds to be in terms of bassline and, you know, rave music. I think I just, every time I go to see him, it's like always like up there every single time.
And so, Below the Belt, when did you start that? But you said about 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah, 2018, I think.
Right.
Yeah, that's 3 years, isn't it? It's a bit mad with like everything going on now. It doesn't even feel like a year.
I know, right?
Gone by. But yeah, I think it was 2018. Put our first event on.
Nice, man. And so the label has grown quite a lot since then. Do you want to talk about some of the artists that you've released?
Yeah, definitely. So we've got Indigo Kidder.
Nice.
Are you familiar with Indigo Kidder? He's he's quite
dope producer.
He's a dope producer and makes some absolutely hilarious videos on his Insta and YouTube, mate.
Yeah.
God, he's a mad bastard. And to be fair, he's off his head. But no, honestly, he's made some absolute belter tunes. And it's funny that he samples like some of the things that he says in his videos, like "Way of the Haze" and stuff like that. It's just brilliant. And then Matix, which is a local producer around here as well. Super producer as well. One that I was listening to before I even met him. Like, I had a couple of his tunes on my pen drives already, and then was talking. I was like, "Hang on a minute, you're Matic, aren't you?" I was like, "No way." But yeah, no, he's made Day Saver EP, which is quality. Again, like sampling, like, you know, like the maddest things. I love the mad samples, like that bloody one of those two shabby lads in bloody thing, and he's like, "Got on the bus for me, Day Saver." that video, mate.
Yeah.
Just sampling that and shit, it works, and he made an absolute banger out of it, proper Deadbeat vibes. We've got obviously we've got some of my tunes. Then we did a lockdown series as well, where we just got like, you know, we just reached out to many DJs we could and just was like, you know, it's lockdown. You know, do you want to do as a mix, and we'll post it on our SoundCloud. We'll, you know, post it on our, you know.
Dope, man.
So we got about 10 mixes for that, which was really good. So that kept us busy, and, you know, it was nice to, you know, give people something to do.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, man, totally. So with the label, are there any artists that you like, let's say up and coming artists, either locally or nationwide or worldwide, that you've like kind of been keeping an eye on, that you're like, these guys are definitely going to be ready for a release soon?
Yeah, I think 1997 is tunes are bopping at minute.
Yeah.
like Gang Signs is an absolute stomper.
Mhm.
Also at Miles Per Hour, like he's one of my favorite producers at the minute. Like, and he's smashing it. Like he brought out that one on Night Bass, and that was unbelievable EP. A lad called Sam Stone as well. Like he seems to be absolutely smashing it at the minute, and he's young as anything. So like he's got mad potential.
Yeah. So have you reached out to any of these guys or?
Yeah. So I've spoke to Sam Stone a bit, just about when we brought out our tunes and that. 1997, a little bit of a mess. Like I had a bit of a chat to him as well. So yeah, no, it'd be good. It's good potential people to work with, hopefully in the future.
Yeah, it sounds like you're kind of amassing quite a roster there.
Yeah,
Yeah, decent, man.
it'd be good. It'd be a good lineup that for a night as well.
Yeah. So let's move on to that. So your events. Have you got any events that really stand out as one, like either that you've played as an artist or that you've put on yourself that really stand out as like absolutely banger of an event?
Yeah. I think our first birthday with Boo. We had Boo, KY. You know, like we did it with Decibel Test, which is like another events team around Manchester. And then we had the bassline room as well. So we had like Deadbeat headlining. We had me, Kris. Me and Kris always go like back to back at our nights. And we had Matic on as well. But it was just amazing. Like, do you know what I mean? We put so much effort into it, and it was a sellout night. 2 rooms at Deaf Institute, which is like a fairly big space around Manchester.
Nice.
And just playing that night with me and Kris had a great time on the decks. The crowd was loving it. And then just going upstairs, and there's a little balcony that you can go on. It was all like the drum and bass, and just like looking over and seeing a packed out crowd, everyone going for it. And you're like, fucking hell, we put this on, mate. Do you know what I mean? So it was good feeling. Do you know what I mean? It was like, shit, we smashed it. Same with the Fat World night as well.
I put on an event down in Exeter once, and I remember looking at the amount of people that were there, and I was like, there's that moment where I was like, oh crap, I'm responsible for all of these people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then very quickly it becomes, nah, that's cool as hell, man.
Yeah, in it. So they're like half cuts at the bar, just looking at everyone going for it, like, oh Jesus, nothing better kick off now.
Yeah, you know. So let's talk about future plans. We've spoken about future plans for the label. Let's talk about your future plans. So have you got any labels that you really want to release on?
Off Me Nut's always been a big one for me. Off Me Nut, like, definitely, hopefully one day in the future. But no, even like, you know, I want to do some more releases with Wood Club, because I feel like Forcer as well. He gave me that foot in the door. Do you know what I mean? I've never really released with any like other. It's my first like proper release, really.
Yeah.
Free download and that, and I'm really made up with like the response it's got for my first proper one. But yeah, like, I mean, obviously Night Bass is a big one. But yeah, no, I'm just content with any labels who wants to put out my music, really.
Yeah,
man. It's like all building blocks for me at the minute. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is my foot in the door, so I need to up my game. Oh, Zero as well. Zero's got his label is you know, he's relaunching his label, as I've heard. But also, like, I'd love to do an EP on Souped Up for, you know, they're one of my favourite labels, like Sirum's label and that, like Critical and that. But that's obviously thinking big. Do you know what I mean? But you know, you got to think big.
Absolutely, man. Aim high, shoot low. You know what I mean?
Exactly, mate.
Yeah, man. So you've been doing this for a hot minute now, but I'm sure you kind of went a bit quiet for a little bit. Was there a reason for that? Was that just because you were like building up the tracks, or?
I think mainly it's probably because he's just very busy at the time, like work, uni, you know, just, you know, life just gets in the way as well sometimes.
Yeah, of course, man.
And maybe it was probably a bit too long of a break as I want, because that's the thing. I need to keep up momentum when it comes to like releasing the track, especially when it was big as Hollaback Girl as well. So that's the lesson I've learned this time. I need to make sure I've got like tracks to follow up with and that, and and make sure I keep pushing it and pushing it.
I guess it's good to get like a full back catalogue so that you can take those breaks and not worry about, like you say, losing the momentum.
Yeah, of course. It's all about keeping momentum in this, I think. And that's one thing that I've learned, and I mean also that shit gets in the way. Do you know what I mean? Like I've worked a lot. At uni, just stuff was changing and that. So it was like, but I always sat down and tried to make tunes and that. And now I feel like, I've got a good back catalogue now to push out now. So it's just all about getting it finalized and just,
Yeah, of course, man. And in terms of the events and things like that, and now that, as we've mentioned, we've got a small glimmer of hope. Have you got any things like, obviously not booked, but like, in the planning stage?
Well, we haven't got anything in stone. We've been talking about it. Like we all live together. Like, you know what I mean? It comes up in conversation. We do really want to like get it back going. It was on about maybe doing like a courtyard session because of like the big beer gardens and that, just doing like garage house music and that.
Yeah.
So we've been in talks about that, and it's very possible if we just find the right venue and if they're up for it. But yeah, no, when the clubs do but come back open, like we've still got Stomps like locked, so we'll definitely do a night with Stomps and probably book like another headliner or something. So we're raring to go with the events. Like,
yeah, I bet, man, I bet. So this last year, what do you feel like you've like learned about less your process and things like that? Do you feel like you've learned like a lot about the way that you make music? Or
I think the thing I learned is I have no really routine when it comes to it. Like, I'll sit down. Sometimes I'll fly on an idea and then I'll just get invested in it. Sometimes I'll sit at my computer and think, why the fuck can I not like think of anything? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
One of them. It's like that balance. It's like one of them things. But it's always like it's always kind of better than none. It's always like, it's more of a like sit down, like we'll crack on with the tune. It's just like a little idea that I'll come back to later.
Yeah.
Then it's an idea I'll come back to later. But yeah, no, I just love messing around with sounds really.
Yeah, totally, man.
I just love making weird sounds on a synth and just putting a sick drum beat to it and then chopping up a vocal and that.
It's totally, man. So what synths and DSTs are you using these days?
I'm just getting into Serum really. I'm loving Serum at the minute. Like, that's obviously a big boy.
Yeah.
Massive, really. I love Massive. Absolutely love it. I have so many sounds on Massive, and sometimes like I think, oh, it's getting a bit outdated now. I'll move more to Serum, but then I'll pull up a sound on it. I was like, sounds massive that.
Yeah.
So carry on with that.
Well, hey.
It is, mate. It is. So it's like I'll stick with what I know as well. So I mean, if anyone's watching, they're feeling the same thing. Honestly, just Massive is sick.
Yeah.
Never discredit it. It's quality.
So do you do your mixing mastering yourself, or do you generally get that sent off to be done?
I do my mixing myself, but I do send it off to mastering.
Okay, and who do you use the same person every time?
Yeah,
or?
deadbeat every time. Every time for the price he charges and the quality you get, it's honestly there's no one else to go to really.
I've heard some really good things about his mastering.
Yeah,
really good things.
Top. He's an unbelievable producer as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, his tracks just hit hard.
They do, don't they?
He's one with his own sound. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
If you hear a deadbeat tune, it's a deadbeat tune.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, shall we talk about like potential like people that you'd love to work with, whether that's in collabs or like back-to-back sets or anything like that?
I mean, I'd love to work with Cryptic. Like, I've always wanted to work with like Cryptic and that, because Cryptic's been one of my inspirations from the start. And like, you know, I've had a few chats with him a few points in that. I was going to do a release with Chip Butty. Well, no, to be fair, I did do a release with Chip Butty actually. I did do one like on a free EP, but I was going to do a proper one. But unfortunately, like around that time, Cryptic was like, he wanted to take the label in a different direction, so that kind of fell through. But yeah, no, definitely Cryptic. Fat World as well, like, you know, because their sound is just incredible. Yeah, like a Forcer. Love to get Forcer on a track.
Yeah, that would be dope, man.
Yeah, definitely. And even like, you know, I really want to like work with some female singers, because I've got some tracks there that just need like just would love like you know, like just a female vocal over it or something. Work with some like actual like, you know, proper musicians and like singers and that, because I did a drum and bass track a while like just recently, and I got my mate to you know, spit some bars over it. It sounds sick. I mean, I love the process of like working with someone else as well.
Yeah.
I need to do it more, really.
So we'll touch on it briefly, and we'll touch on it briefly in a little bit. But you're in a band as well. Do you ever like sample, like not necessarily the band, but do you ever like record your own samples and things like that to use in tracks?
Sometimes. I probably should do more, because like it's really good. It's really good and fun to do. I did a lot of when I had like a vinyl player. I did like a lot of like vinyl ripping as well. Like I ripped some of the samples in Hollaback Girl is from a vinyl.
Nice.
But yeah, I should definitely do it more. I really wanted to do a drum and bass remix of one of the band's tracks, White Lady.
Okay.
It's quite an aggressive one, and like some really like dirty guitar tones in there, so I could really chop them up.
And so do you have all like, I haven't really looked into how like band tracks are made for quite a while, but I guess it's a similar kind of process in the sense that you've got all the stems and then you put it all together. So I assume you have all like the guitar tracks, the drum tracks, and all of those bits and bobs.
Yeah,
that's really cool, man. So I having listened to the band, I think it would suit a nice drum and bass like remix to it.
Yeah, especially with that tune. It's got like a dead bouncy, like, you know, quite heavy guitar riff as well. And the drums are quite. I think we at the time we wanted to like have a little bit of inspiration from drum and bass. I'm pretty sure it's like 174, like 175 beats per minute. They've got a cool little sample at the start. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot to work with. Since we're talking about it now, I'm gonna have to get onto that. Really,
that's dope, man. So should we talk a little bit about the band?
Yeah, if you want to, mate. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So you are the frontman of a band called Serotonin.
That's correct.
Do you want to just tell us a little bit about how that started and the kind of vibes that you guys go for with that?
Yeah, man. So I mean, this is how I really got into music from the get go. Like me and Ollie, the drummer, we've been jamming together since we was in primary school. Like was in a band then called Carnage, and like, you know, I was a massive Metallica fan and he was a massive Arctic Monkeys fan, and it was basically just an Arctic Monkeys / Metallica tribute band. The music that we wrote was mad because it was like a combination of them two.
I was gonna say, like, you can't get more polar opposite, really, can you?
We were young, we was having fun, we was trying different things. It was mad. But yeah, anyway, further down the line, we met Ben through school, and then we've been Serotonin for about 5-6 years now. Like time just flies. But yeah, man, I absolutely love being a band. Like, you know, we've played all over the country, you know, small and large gigs, and we've literally just brought out our new single as well, like last Friday.
Nice,
so
man.
That's really good to get on. We've been sat on this tune for a while as well, so we've been busy with like the release for that as well.
Yeah. And so if you could describe the sound of Serotonin, how would you
Yeah,
describe it?
it's gone very different from when we first started. It was a lot more heavier, but now we've been inspired by other people. But from what people have told us, we're like quite like Arty Monkeys ish, like all the older stuff, like a little like Favorite Worst Nightmare, but a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
Even a bit of like Queens of Stone Age, Foo Fighters, Kid Capacci, and like the Blinders stuff, like some up and coming UK bands, which get a lot of inspiration off. Definitely like the Blinders, Kid Capacci. I think it's Kid Capici or Kid Capacci. I keep saying Capacci, but I'm sure someone said no, it's Capici. Anyway, they're sick anyway. They're a sick band, but yeah, no, we take a lot of inspiration and Royal Blood as well. We've heard that we've got like quite a Royal Blood sound to us as well.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, man. So in terms of like a workload focus, how much is like on your dance music and how much is on your band? Do you try and keep it fairly even, or?
Yeah, definitely. I'll go through stages, mate. There'll be a time where I'm like writing like band stuff, guitar music and that. And then there'll be a time where I'm writing like I'll just have a spell of writing like bass line. I'll have a spell of writing drum and bass. And then me and my mate from college, Jack, we're getting up like a metal project, so we're like writing really, really heavy tunes. So that's another thing as well. But it's just like a balance of that between like, I just go through spells and just write one type of music, then write another. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So have you ever thought about like getting Ollie to like record some drum like hits and things like that for you to use in your dance music production?
It's been a thought, but we've just never got around to doing it.
Yeah.
But the good thing is like I'm finishing this this May, so I'm going to be moving back to my own town, and me and the band are opening up our own studio,
Okay.
which is just around the corner. Like with me and my dad, I helped my dad build it. It's just in a social club, and it's been used as a recording studio and a practice room and that. But the guy who was in there, he's leaving now due to COVID, which is sad. But for us, it's a great opportunity for us to take it over and turn it into a full recording studio, practice room, and all that. So then that'll be ours. So 100% it'll be getting Ollie in like whenever we can, just to record samples and stuff. And
Yeah, of course, man.
we'll have a whole library to record so many different sounds and that, which is very exciting.
That's it, because I love hearing like dance music that you can tell has got like real drum samples, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
there's obviously something to be said for like the claps and all this kind of stuff, but there's very few like drum sounds that sound better than a real snare. Do you know what I mean? Like
especially in drum and bass, when you hear like the live snare, like pardon me, sorry, I've got a very dry throat.
That's all right, man.
Remember Rezo was talking about when he makes his drums, because he's a drummer himself. Like some drum and bass artists and drummers are actually drummers. So it's like I'm a drummer myself as well. So it's like you can definitely get more creative and live. And there's a part on Rezo called his track "Move It," where it's like the second section and it goes into such like a sick rock beat. And it just gives the tune a whole different energy, and it sounds live. You know what I mean? It's live. It's got like proper live samples and stuff, like layered with processed drum hits and that.
Yeah, of course. Just to give it that like kind of layering, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So do you, in terms with your like bass line and stuff like that, do you have like a set of drum samples that are like your go-to, or do you like to change it up every track?
Yeah, I do. I have like ones that like say like my crash and kicks and that. Like I do have ones that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take that. But I do also like to switch it up. I do like to find new sounds, just so it's not the same sound. I do like to keep like I want my sound, but I do like it just helps like creativity as well. If you're playing with the same drum kit like every single time, like it just gets boring. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, of course, man.
And, learning like finding different samples and shit and see what works together.
Yeah, of course, man. So are you able to talk about any like of the tracks that you've got sat there waiting that that you've either sent off to labels, or that you've like really considered just chucking out there?
Yeah. So yeah, I got one called, like the one I was on about before, Filthy Pervert. That's like quite a very, very Dr. Cryptic inspired, like very Reese heavy.
Nice.
It's a very, like, you know, it's a very heavy track. And he really liked it. Like, it's a shame that like the clubs ain't going, because he was saying that like he would love to like put it through a rig and that.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to get that one out. And also like some of my drum and bass stuff as well. I've just been really enjoying like some of the drum and bass I've been making. There was one where it was like some of Sirim's latest stuff now. It's just wobbly as anything. Like, it's really, I think that would, it's called Stunning. And have you ever seen Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere by any chance?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've sampled that. Really.
Nice.
Sampled Raymond the Bastard makes an appearance in it. And it's just wobbly. It's just a daft tune, but it you know, it goes in. Like, everyone I've shown has been like, that's dirt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've been trying for quite a few years myself to like kind of amalgamate drum and bass and bass line in like one track. But getting that like that wibbly wobbly sound to work at 175 is quite difficult.
Yeah,
is that something that you found, or is that something that you've kind of like managed to work out?
Yeah, I just love wobbles. Like, do you know what I mean?
Wobbles
over foghorns any day, mate. In it, mate. But no, yeah, that was just like it just came, like you say, you just go on a tangent when you're making a tune. Like, you know, you could be making something, and then next minute you just, something clicks, and then you just make something completely different to what you initially started with.
That's it, isn't it?
That was one of them tracks. And then I just remember watching, like, I was sat in bed, like, you know, just before you got bed, like, you know, watching stuff. I was watching all the outtakes of bloody Max and Paddy, just to have a bit of a laugh. And then there was that where he comes up to the farm, like when he's on the farm, and he says, "Pass the Dutchy pal, the left hand side," you know, like direction. And I was like, that is sick. I was like, that's like, you know, pass the Dutchy on the left hand side. But obviously said in that way, I was like, that needs to go in a tune, and it just works so well in this. So like,
dope, man.
I think that's the one I'm excited to get out.
I'm looking forward to hearing all these. Do you have any idea when these kind of things might see the light of day?
No, hopefully soon. Soon. I'm really like, you know, just putting a rocket up my ass, and, you know, going like, I need to get these tunes sorted now, because especially with like my latest release, Boss, that got a response I did not expect. Like, it got editorial playlisted and that. So, you know, that kind of said to me that, like, you know, I'm doing something right. I need to get this I need to light this rocket and start pushing bad. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I've said to myself, and, you know, hopefully you'll be seeing a bit more.
Sick, man. So when you're looking at like what you know, tracks are successful and things like that, what kind of things are you looking at? Are you looking at like the plays, the downloads, or the comments?
I mean, from that, it was getting in the editorial playlist, because I was like, that's one thing I've been trying to do with my band as well. And I know it's not all about the streams. But that was like a really nice, like, it's being recognized, especially because I have so much anxiety over my mixes and, like, you know, how things sound, and, you know, if it's not good enough and that. And that was a real big, like, you know, you are doing something right here.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
But with usually, I mean, all the time, it's just like, you know, I'll make tunes for me, and, you know, just to show, like, you know, have a laugh with my mates. So like, that's why I make jokey tunes and that, just because it's like,
yeah, man,
I'll just do a random sample and then do a filthy drop, and then just, you know, just to show people and just have get a giggle out of it or something.
Yeah,
but then, like, you know, but always as well, it's like, I love the fact that when Hollaback Girl came out, it was like, I remember when we was talking about before, it was like a competition to show people like the filthiest tune, or like the best tune, or like you get excited and you get, like, you know, to know that Hollaback tune was one of them tunes that people around the country or around wherever was showing to their mates and, you know, playing in their sets and that.
Well,
that
I could,
just,
well, I
the
can say,
realization of that was like fucking sick.
yeah.
I was
Well,
like,
I mean,
means a lot. That's everything, really.
that's it. I mean, I can safely say that that tune absolutely popped off in the Southwest. Like,
It's right.
I used to play it in sets all the time. I know loads of people that used to play it in sets all the time. I mean, they still do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, see, that's it. That's me. I'm happy. That is the reason why I make tunes, so
Yeah,
people
awesome, man.
can just enjoy listening to it. Like, someone sent me a video of it getting played at like a rave at like 5 o'clock in the morning with like a police helicopter circling. And I was like just waking up. Someone tabbed me in, and I was like, rubbed my eyes. I was like, "Fuck, that's my tune."
Yeah,
like,
right.
No way. I did. Do you know what I mean? It was like crazy shit like that. Just, you know, like that's where I get my kicks.
So have you ever had that in person where you've been like at an event and you haven't expected, you know, not even necessarily like not an event that you've put on or with people that you even know, where you've heard one of your tracks and you've just been like kind of stood there at the bar like, hang on a minute, is this? It is, isn't it?
You know what? I've not had that experience yet.
Oh,
I've
no.
had people tell me like, you know, your track got dropped at this night, or like Kris was saying he was at Boomtown in the queue and someone was like with a boombox on just fucking walking around playing my tune. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's so dope though, isn't it?
Oh, you brought us a brew? This is Kris here now, B-Lipper.
Nice to see you, Kris.
Hello, brother. You okay?
I'm okay, man. How you doing?
I'm fucking great this morning, mate. I feel nice and toasty and warm and cozy in the house, and I'm making some breakfast now.
Nice.
Golden.
Nice, man.
It's an interview.
Is it?
Yeah. But Wub Mag.
Oh, is it? If I just stumbled into a fucking...
You have, lad.
All right, fellas.
You're going to be famous.
I hope so, mate. Got bills to pay.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's funny. So is he the other guy that you run the label with then?
Yeah, that's Kris.
Nice.
Kris.
Has he got a producer name or?
Yeah, Lipper.
Lipper.
It would be Lipper.
Nice.
But now it's Lipper.
Yeah.
There's an obvious reason to that.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, is there anything else that you really want to talk about before we wrap up? Any like names that you really want to shout out? Anything like
that? I mean, not really. No, I mean, I'd like to just shout out the Manny boys, like, you know, like Raby. He's absolutely killing it at the minute. He's a drum and bass producer from around here, Royal Audio. Absolutely smashing it.
Sick.
You know, just some Manny's like Often Pompton there. They throw some mad nights. Alfie Wells. You know, Mystics. Masiki, we've got him on a few nights in that Warts. You know, when the scene gets back lively, Manchester's going to be popping, and all these like, you know, independent events and that are going to be throwing in everything. And I can imagine all the you know, the big events like Metropolis and that are going to be throwing everything in. So I mean, Manchester, if anyone's watching and, you know, is thinking about coming up to Manchester for a night out, get yourselves down. It is going to be absolutely killing it, mate. Proper.
The first few raves back are just going to be silly, aren't they?
It's going to be mental, mate. It's going to be absolutely mental.
So are you also looking forward to getting back performing with the band then, I assume, as well?
Yeah, man, I can't wait. Like we had a practice the other week. First time we've been in a room together practicing for almost a year, because we had a little bit of a break even so, but it was just good to get back jamming, mate. Just having a jam and shit and fucking, you know, getting back at it. So
yeah, of course.
It's good to get the ball rolling again. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is light at the end of the tunnel, as everyone's saying.
Yeah, of course. So where can people find you online to either book you or just listen to your music or anything like that?
I'm very approachable. You know, you can find me on my Instagram. I've just made a new Instagram now called I Am JoJo UK. I'm sure you'll post the socials.
Yeah, of course, man.
So yeah, please go and give us a follow on that. SoundCloud, you know, I've just started my SoundCloud up. Facebook, you know, personal or even the site one, very approachable. So if you want to get us booked, just give us a message. I'll be down, honestly.
Awesome.
I'll do it for 30 quid and a bottle of rum, tell you.
Bang.
Keep us DJ going, mate.
Expect a message from me.
Yeah, mate.
So yeah, well, thank you very much for taking a bit of time out of your day today to have a little chat about your music and that. It's been a really I've really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, man. I've enjoyed it too. Yeah, man.
Awesome,
Thank you
man.
very,
Well,
very much for having me.
That's anytime, man. We'll have to get you back on in a few months' time once events are up and running, so that we can plug some of your events and things like that.
Of course, mate. Yeah, always down for that.
Awesome, man. Well, so thank you very much for everyone tuning in to BassPush Interviews in conjunction with the Wub Mag, an online magazine based in Bristol covering everything underground. You can find them at www.thewubmag.com or on Instagram at the Wub Mag or on Facebook at the Wub. And so, yeah, thank you very much, JoJo. I've been BassPush. He's been JoJo. We've been the Wub. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. In a bit.